the brand new day? Can you, baby, feel the brand new day? Help me. Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
back, everyone.
Welcome. Do you know what we're talking about today? No? You've never seen The Wiz?
Oh, okay.
Wow. Couldn't be me. I also haven't seen it either. We'll get to it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Barnard Babble, episode 21.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Erica.
I'm Justin.
And we're the Barnards, and we're babbling.
We're babbling.
Today. That's what we're going to do.
Some people don't understand the babble part of it.
It's really easy.
I'm like, did we spell it wrong? Are we the villains?
You can spell it a different way, yes. Like, I think Babble,
Go on.
the language helping app, spells it a little differently.
They stole our name from us, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
We had the name
Man,
first.
I hope we get sponsored by Babble one day.
Wow.
How awesome would that be?
Wow. Wouldn't that just be great?
Full circle. It would be beautiful.
Listen, and I'm sure, look.
I would give them the best ad read they've ever had in their life. Ever.
I bet you would. And I wouldn't. The ad like sets up itself, like, you know, like the transition, and I was
exactly,
and I will still fumble the bag somehow. Exactly. What you mean?
No,
exactly?
I mean to your other point, your previous point.
You would fumble it.
To your previous point. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody's doing good.
Merry Thanksgiving.
It is currently the week of Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's getting ready, prepared. You got your turkey in the fridge thawing because we singing Negro spirituals already?
Yep.
Okay. I'm like, what are we doing? Hymnals? Okay. Make sure that turkey's out, y'all. That's the mistake a lot of people make. If it's your first time preparing the Thanksgiving turkey, you got a frozen bird. You think, oh, I'll take this out the night before.
2 to 3 days?
No.
How long?
It's about 4 days.
4
to 5 days, depending on how big your bird is.
Oh, I think it's like a month, actually. So if you're listening to this, you know, it should be the Monday before Thanksgiving.
The Monday before, yeah.
You're screwed. There's nothing you can do. You should have been thawing this out last year.
Yes.
Sorry.
It takes a really long time.
Hey, there's always 2023.
To thaw a turkey. But, you know, this is the season where we all gather. We give thanks. There's lots of good food. You know, sometimes there isn't.
Hopefully there is.
You hope and you pray that the food comes out okay. But, you know.
Popeyes is open on Thanksgiving, apparently,
Popeyes
y'all. I
is
Googled
a great option. They are open.
I was like, listen, I don't know if I want to do it. Everybody who's coming this year, they want to cook. Everybody who's coming to our house, they want to cook. I don't want them to cook, though. I just want to eat Popeyes and some red velvet cake and my wife's pound cake. Ooh, you should make a pound cake.
I'm planning on making a pound cake, yes.
Can you feel the
I will make a pound
day?
cake, yeah. So we wanted to do something, you know, fitting for the season. So we were like, oh, you know, let's do some Thanksgiving films. Well, lo and behold, there aren't very many.
Yeah, you're right.
There's the only one off the top of my head that's a straight up Thanksgiving classic.
Go on.
It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which you've never seen, right?
I think I've maybe watched it as a youngin maybe when I was a wee babe. I don't remember a lot about it. John Candy and who? David Spade?
No.
Oh, is it not John?
Chris Martin.
Chris Martin.
Yeah, white hair guy. He's been like white hair his whole life or something. It's crazy.
Who that is?
Oh my. Okay. He's the Naked Gun guy. The Naked Gun movies.
I think you're wrong.
Is that not his name? What's his name?
Leslie Nelson.
Leslie
Nelson.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about? Chris Martin.
Okay, hold on. Let me just look up Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because
apparently you've never seen it either.
Apparently I haven't.
What?
Goodness. Steve Martin.
Oh my God, Chris Martin.
John Candy and Steve Martin. There we go.
Okay, David Spade is nowhere near that.
He is not, but that's...
I think I'm getting my fat men mixed up. Like David
Spade and Chris Farley could have remade that movie, and it would have been great.
Okay.
They would have been good casting if they had just made that movie a decade or two later.
I guess I really never have seen it. Yeah.
My first time watching it, I was in my 20s, like mid to late 20s, so I didn't grow up with the movie. I had a friend. It was Thanksgiving season. It was a Friendsgiving. We were all up at a big old Counting. We were all up at
what
a big...
What are you trying to say?
Cabin. We were all up at a big cabin.
I like counting. Y'all counting in the woods.
In Big Sur. And she was just shocked that I had never seen it. And it is really good.
Big Sur.
I cried and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a big ma'am?
Oh my God. All right. Podcast over. Podcast over. But
and y'all liked it?
No, I loved it. I cried and everything. And I was like, wow, this is such a great movie. Yeah.
It's that kind of movie?
It's a comedy.
Sure, but there's some sweetness.
But yes, there's a lot of heart in it, and they're trying to get home to their families. And I won't
spoil
anything, but
please don't spoil Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
We should definitely watch it. We should watch it.
Okay.
But so
but
you know,
all that.
Christmas gets all the good Christmas movies. There's a million Christmas movies, and there probably are a lot of Thanksgiving movies that come on Lifetime or something like that. But I don't know them, y'all. I'm not checking for them.
There's not a bunch of like mainstream ones that everybody knows. Like anybody you walk up to could name you 10 Christmas movies that they love or they watch every year, whatever. Do that with Thanksgiving. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? And even that would be like a question mark.
Right. If there is a Thanksgiving movie that we are missing, guys, that you're like, oh my God, what are you talking about? There's this movie. Let us know in the comments. Because right now, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is all we got. That's all I got.
Like, someone's going to let us know that technically Django takes place during Thanksgiving. Like, Django and Chain. Oh, okay. You're right. Yeah, because like that dinner at Mr. Candy's house was during Thanksgiving. Right. I had no idea. Let us know down in the comments.
Let us know.
Because we are on YouTube, y'all. It's true. We are on YouTube. So technically, you can let us know in comments now. It's not a joke anymore.
It's not a joke. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, we are also on YouTube. Since we don't have a traditional Thanksgiving film that either of us could think about, we did start thinking about, well, what are films that we would watch with our family around the holidays? And two of those movies are The Color Purple and The Wiz.
Yes. It makes sense to me. Totally.
And for some reason, when there was a gathering around the holidays, usually Thanksgiving, because Christmas was more immediate family, at least for me.
Okay.
We didn't visit too much with our extended family on Christmas. At least not when I got older. We stayed in our house, and maybe when I was really young, a baby, we did more of that. But at Thanksgiving, yes, you go out of the way to go to Big Mama's house,
that's true,
Grandma's house,
you go around
Nana's house,
getting different plates from different people's houses,
right? Yeah, or
people you haven't seen in years, or hey, I haven't seen you since last Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Thanks for the plate.
And every time you would go over Uncle whoever, Cousin Pookie's house, somebody would be playing one of these movies.
Yeah.
The Wiz would be on, or The Color Purple would be on.
Yeah.
So to me, these are Thanksgiving films.
Okay. I say okay.
They feel like Thanksgiving.
The Wiz, not so much. Y'all, we'll get to it. But
for me
personally, these are personal movies. Y'all are sitting in your house right now, drinking your lovely cup of hot coffee, and you're going like, what? I've never watched The Miz. I've never watched The Wiz and Color Purple during Thanksgiving. Well, good for you. We did. I'm sure you had your movies. Please let us know what they are. But for us, well, for Eric especially, The Wiz was one of them.
Yeah.
I still, even right now, us podcasting, have not technically seen The Wiz. I was educated. Erica showed me some of the songs. I think almost every song, really.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube, and some behind the scenes stuff. Some fun facts. So I feel like I know a good bit, even though I've technically never watched the movie.
Well,
during it, I wish I had. I said I wish I had seen this when I was a kid. But,
oh yeah. Well, it's essentially The Wizard of Oz, but with black people.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. But it is not copy and paste.
Sure.
They definitely did their own thing, did their own story here. Any screenshot from the movie, and you wouldn't honestly know what the heck you were looking at, but that should be a testament to how different it is from the Judy Garland Wizard of Oz that we all know and love.
The classic.
The quote-unquote classic, which great fun fact.
Classic.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get on that. We'll get on it.
Yeah, I don't want no fun facts in the beginning. Ugh.
Well, I do have some facts, though, about The Wiz.
They better not be fun, though.
It is an old as dirt movie, y'all. This movie came out in 1978.
Woo!
And I think a good part of that also makes it feel like Thanksgiving to me, because it is old. And my parents are old, and they have always been. They've always been old to me,
okay,
and they will forever be old. No matter what age you are, your parents are old to you.
Yeah.
Even though my parents are doing well, young, spry, good, healthy people. But so it has this feel of like
nostalgia,
a nostalgia to it.
Even back
another
then,
time because this movie for them, when it came out in 78,
78,
78. I'm sorry.
I'm like, ooh, when it came out, like right during World War One. Right when the bombs were dropping, The Wiz was just playing in theaters.
Okay, I'm like, well, the World War One wasn't in the 60s.
I know.
Okay,
it keeps going back. So when when the first Thanksgiving was here in America, it was so peaceful. There was no diseases swapped at all. What did they sit around and watch while eating corn? The Wiz.
The Wiz, exactly. Yes, it's very nostalgic. Just from the vibe of it, the outfits and everything that they wear. Crazy thing that I found out about this movie that I have never. Does anyone know this?
Oh God, okay.
The fact that Joel Schumacher wrote the script for this film.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Mr. Rubber Nipples on the bat suit himself.
Bad credit card.
Mr. Back Credit Card.
Yep.
Mr. Freeze Puns himself.
Kind of crazy. No
wrote
idea.
the script for The Wiz.
And honestly, The Wiz is probably his best work.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. He also did The Lost Boys, which is pretty good.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Wow.
He's done some
you've never
good
seen
films.
Lost Boys, have you?
No, but I almost kind of feel like I have. I've watched
It's
reviews.
one of those. It's one of those movies. Oh,
things.
Because you watch reviews.
Well, I feel like I know what it's about, but I do need to watch it.
You better give
Keith Sutherland. You love him.
Wait, what's his name?
Keither?
Keithan? Keithan?
What's his name?
You better put some respect on his name.
It's just Keith.
Kiefer.
Oh, it's Keith.
It's Kiefer Sutherland.
Okay.
What a dare you? You put some respect
name.
on Mr. 24 himself.
That's
anyway.
a weird name. Kiefer. Okay, I'll name my next pet Kiefer. But Joel Schumacher did the script. Apparently he had worked on like 2 other black films.
What were they? Fish in the
Car
Water.
Wash. He worked on Car Wash and something else. Something about
fish?
Was it fish? I don't know why you keep saying that, but maybe.
I don't know. I want some Cam D's.
The one that I recognized was the Car Wash. Like I remember my mom talking about.
I've never seen it.
That movie. And I think that working at the car wash. I think that song.
Joel Schumacher wrote that?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Joel Schumacher wrote that song, but yeah. Okay. So it was originally a play that was on Broadway.
Yeah.
And people loved it. And they were like, oh, you know what? Let's just make it a special on NBC or something like that. But it obviously ended up getting turned into a movie because Diana Ross found out that they were doing it.
She lobbied for it.
And she was like, I won't play Dorothy, y'all.
You better put me in that.
You better put me in as Dorothy. She sounds like Michael Jackson. I've always thought her and Michael Jackson had the exact same voice. But that's another subject for another day, probably. Mm-hmm. But Diana Ross of the Supremes fame, she really wanted to play Dorothy, but she is like 30 at this time in her life.
She's like 31 or something like that?
30 or 31.
Yeah.
And Dorothy has always been a little girl. She's been a young girl. Yeah. I think Judy Garland might have been in her teens when she was playing Dorothy.
Sure.
But so people were like, I don't really know about that. I don't know if that's going to work.
We were watching this behind the scenes or whatever, just like, getting prepped for the podcast. And I just kept laughing. So many people were like, she's old. Get this old hag out of here.
So old.
She's in her early 30s. Ew.
Gross.
They didn't, a bunch of people who were, trying to get this movie made, they didn't want her because they just couldn't. And it's weird because the vision of the movie is different. She's a young woman. She's a teacher.
Right, she's a young woman.
She's teaching kindergarten. Her auntie M, whatever, wants her to teach in high school. She isn't a little kid. She can drive. She has problems. She probably has a couple gray hairs. Yeah,
which her aunt does try to get her to oh, didn't so and so look nice today at dinner? And I think the movie might take place at
what?
I think the movie might take place at Thanksgiving.
Oh.
It's either Thanksgiving or Christmas because in the beginning of the movie they're having a get together.
Yeah.
And there is snow. Some places it's snowing in November.
That's not weird, yeah.
So, but they're cooking or whatever, and she's very shy, mousy kind of character.
Meek.
This Dorothy, Diana Ross's Dorothy, and she's just in the kitchen cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
She don't want to be out there with all the other family members and friends that are laughing, having a good time, catching up, which I've been there. She feels a little bit.
I'm there now, yeah.
She feels a little bit like an outcast.
Yeah.
With
don't look at me.
Don't talk to me. With her family, and she keeps to herself, and they think it's weird or whatever. They say, "Oh, Dorothy, you need to grow up. You can't keep living with your aunt and uncle. You need to get your own place."
And she's like, "Why not?"
And stuff like that. Yeah, and she's just like, "But I like working with the children." Whatever. Anyway, people were upset that this rendition of Dorothy was very sad and very shy.
It was like a real interpretation.
She was a person, and people
did
not like it. People did not enjoy it. They originally, and this movie famously, I don't know if this is the only movie Michael Jackson has been in, but it kind of seems like it to me.
No, wasn't he in like nope, that was a made-for-TV movie.
Okay.
Nope, that was the older brother from Smart Guy. Never mind.
Oh, you're thinking about the Jackson 5 movie?
Yeah, I'm like, that was him, right?
Yeah,
no. Yeah, I guess technically this was like his real, like maybe he one of his only Hollywood movies because he did direct like some like I think borderline short films that were his not direct, but like he was in like borderline short films that were like some of his music videos, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like a traditional movie. I don't know if he did much more than this.
I not that I know of, but that's me. But he's playing the Scarecrow in this, and he does a wonderful job as a Scarecrow.
Shucking and jiving.
Oh my God, his physicality is great in the role. Like his wobbly knees, and he can't really walk during the whole film and stand up straight. And he's kind of like the heart of the film, which the original Wizard of Oz, which
is funny because he's not the Tin Man. I'm sorry, I had to.
Okay.
You said he was the heart of the film.
Yep.
Which is funny because the Tin Man is the one who needs a heart. You see, because in the story. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So, he's kind of the heart of the film, just like in the original Wizard of Oz. Everybody really likes the Scarecrow character a lot. He's a very good friend to Dorothy. Very, very nice. Yeah, but they originally wanted Jimmy Walker from Good Times, and I think that could have worked as well.
I can see it. I think I scoffed when I heard that. Like, oh, what? My word.
No.
But I can see
Tall, lanky guy.
I can see it, yeah.
And he's funny. Michael came off very sweet.
Sure. Yeah.
And if Jimmy had did it, he probably would have been a little bit more funny.
You think he would have said Dynamite?
He might have said Dynamite. Yeah.
Oh, God. He just looks at the camera. Dynamite.
But I love Michael in this role. Sometimes he disappears to me, and I kind of am like,
oh, really?
Oh, it's just he's a scarecrow. I just felt like I get what you're saying. Yeah, I thought he did a really great job. Richard Pryor is in this as the great and powerful Oz. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, obviously. That character just naturally doesn't.
Sure.
But he does a good job at being scary, and then he also does a great job of being like, I don't know what I'm doing, when they figure out who he actually is. Quincy Jones produced the music, who's done absolutely everything.
The original Wizard of Oz was a musical, right? We're off to see the Wizard.
It's a book.
The one from Wizard of Oz.
It's
they had like
book,
2 songs in
and
it.
I don't know if they wrote that music for that movie. Yeah. I want to say that they did, the Judy Garland one.
Yeah.
There could have been songs in the book. I have never read there's a couple of them, the Wizard of Oz books. Or Oz, or they're called something like that. I've never read them, so I do not know.
What is the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow? Is that Wizard of Oz?
Uh-huh.
Oh, look at me. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 or 3 songs in that movie.
Yeah, baby. Have you seen the Wizard of Oz?
I have. Now, like, I'm not joking. I'm not like, I have seen it multiple times. It's been a long time.
Yeah, there's several songs. It's a musical.
Does the Wicked... I mean, I asked you that, and you didn't give me a straight up answer.
I must have missed that part of the question.
How dare you?
Okay. So.
Check the footage. Roll it back.
Quincy Jones produced the music, who's absolutely amazing. Went on to produce Michael Jackson's 3 next albums. Now, the movie had a $24 million budget.
Yeah.
$24 million budget, and it only made $21 million.
Yikes. So commercial failure.
The community did not show up for the Wiz at the time.
Yeah. I mean, and the complaints, I guess most of them were, well, no. A lot of people did not like Diana Ross's performance. They, like we said earlier, they thought that she was too sad, and how come she's so old?
Right.
Like people didn't like the take on it. And I think some of the I think they said it maybe dragged a little bit. It was too long, right?
It is like a 2.5 hour long movie.
It was a little too
really
weird.
long, and it is very weird.
I think one of the complaints was that it was too like kiddie for adults, but also too kind of weird and odd for kids. Which the whole like it maybe being scary for kids, I don't really buy that. Like I feel like if I was a kid watching this, some parts would have freaked me out a little bit, but I would have like loved it, you know?
It has some creepy moments, like when they're in the subway,
yeah,
and the trash cans come to life and the pillars
that's a straight up nightmare.
Break and they're chasing them.
This whole movie is like a fever dream.
It is,
because like it's hard to describe. It's hard to describe the scenes and the scenarios. Just for me, like I said, I haven't technically watched it, y'all. I just want to keep saying that, and I still feel like I got. Just from some behind the scenes footage and watching all the songs,
the music.
I feel like I could piece it together, and it really is like somebody's like tripping.
Yes,
you know, like
I have
some psychedelics were had when they were writing this movie.
I have in my notes, like, how do you make like a low budget movie? I mean, how do you make a high budget movie look low budget?
Yeah,
which is what they did.
Well,
because part of the movie looks cheap, but also part of it looks like, wow, they put a lot of work into this.
Yeah,
like there are parts that look cheap, like Michael Jackson's Scarecrow.
I mean,
to me,
all of like that whole scenario, like the crows and stuff, all that, like their costumes look
right. The crows, they did the bare minimum to make those people look like crows, which that's racist, I guess. I really don't know.
You think so?
Well black people dressed up like crows.
Some of them were talking like it was some Song of the South type. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
I don't know. It was a different time, and people weren't offended.
I don't know, boss.
People weren't offended by the crows in Dumbo at that point, so
sure.
I really don't know. But like the person that worked on the costuming and the makeup is like big time. Like that guy worked on like Alien and
he did some real special effects.
I wish I had the other ones off the top of my head.
Oh,
he's a special effects. Like
I forget. Yeah, Aliens is he did Aliens and some other ones that were like Aliens in terms of like big special effects. Yeah,
they were going for a look in this, and I'm sure they achieved what they wanted because they probably could have made things look more pristine or make more, sense if they wanted to.
Because it takes place in like an alternate New York. It's like a weird. Imagine Wizard of Oz, if it was in New York,
right? New York, Detroit, Chicago,
it's like
big city,
mm-hmm. And it really is a vibe. I mean, I know people say that about a lot of stuff. It really is. If you watch this, like just even the songs, you'll catch a lot of what they're going for, and it's really unique. And I feel like, I guess would it be considered a cult classic? This movie? At this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, sure. Especially in the black community.
Yeah, which is why it's sad that I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
People love The Wiz. It's why it is on in the background at holidays and functions, specifically Thanksgiving and kind of Christmas, because you have multiple generations that at this point that have grown up with this film, and they went and saw it as kids, and then they showed their kids, and now their kids are showing their kids. I mean. It is a classic.
So I can blame my parents because I think my dad watched it every once in a while, maybe, and my mom probably watched it even less, even less than that. So they didn't expose me to it, so it's not my fault,
But, man, it's okay. The Oz scene, I wanted to talk about that when they finally reach Oz, and it is like all these bougie black people. Dressed to the nines.
Well, yeah, they're not in front of him just yet, right?
No, they're the city of Oz.
Well, no, sorry. See, I don't know nothing about it. Okay, when they reach the city of Oz.
Yes.
So wait a minute, the Wizard of Oz. Oz is the city, and the wizard is the fraud. Wow, it all makes sense now.
He is, but his name is also Oz.
What the? So well, now I'm just confused.
The city is named after him. Yes.
Well, now I'm just confused. Okay.
It is named after him. It is his city.
Okay.
That scene with all of those beautiful black people. Goodness, it's like 1 million models. It's actually 650.
650 people.
to make that scene, and they're all walking
What's
the catwalk almost. I don't know the name of this song. It's like
y'all. It's so weird. It's like
weird.
Fashion. Gold.
They talk
red.
about being green. They talk about being red.
And the song is so dang long, y'all.
It is a really long song.
Like I was sitting there like with my mouth open for most of it because the slack jawed because I just couldn't understand what it took to make this scene, like the production of it. I kept seeing it and going, this is really intricate.
Yeah.
What it would take to make this. And for a while there, because they kept changing colors, y'all. It went from green to red to gold. I was thinking that maybe it was just like the lights that were making them look different.
No.
But if you look closer, it's like, oh, they're changing like whole outfits.
Right. 1,200 costumes. 1,200 different costumes for that
For that one song scene. Yeah.
It's intense. I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, wow, someone really put a lot of work, a lot of heart, a lot of passion into this film. But there are parts, though, that it looks like literal trash. Where they just put trash pieces together and hot glued them.
You know why? Because they had 600 something extras and they had over 200 costumes. And when it came to building some of the sets, they were like, "Hey, we just bought out a whole Macy's. We can't.
We can't.
We can't."
It was a lot. But I was like, I don't understand this Oz scene. I never have my whole life of watching this movie. I'm like, what's going on? What are they trying to tell me here? And you had a really thoughtful, observation.
I think it was maybe they were commenting on capitalism, consumerism, people like trends, because every time Oz would come on over the loudspeaker and be like, "Oh, green was last week. Now gold is in fashion."
Right.
And so then it would all like the colors and everything would switch to gold, and they would be talking about, "Ew, you are green, get away from me.
Yeah.
Gold is bold. You ain't gold, I'm not sold." Something like that.
So were they talking about maybe the Black community and how we follow trends and maybe we're not forming our own opinions?
Well, actually, you know what? I don't even know if it was like even specifically talking about the Black community. I think it was just saying people in general.
Okay.
Maybe because who helped Joel Schumacher write this?
I don't know. I have no idea.
If y'all don't know, Joel Schumacher is a white man.
He's a gay white man, which there's a lot of. I get that. That part I get in The Wiz. There's a scene where everybody's wearing.
We'll get there.
That part I get.
Sure.
100%. God bless Joel Schumacher.
But yeah, it's interesting. So
he's giving us some looks.
I don't know if he was commenting or if the movie's intention, like the director and the writer, all the people together. I don't think maybe that was their intention, but they were definitely making a point, commenting on society, I think, in that way. I don't know if there's many other things like that in the movie. In that way, maybe?
Other than Dorothy's journey of growing up and finding power within herself, liking herself, learning to become more responsible, which all the characters, and that's the whole story of The Wizard of Oz in general. You always had a heart, Tin Man, you know. What are you talking about, Scarecrow? If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have gotten out of this mess. You know, you thought of this plan. What do you mean you're not brave, Lion? You literally saved us from this, this, and this. You know, so it's just like having this perception of yourself that isn't true. And at the end of the film, everyone sees like, oh, I am all the things.
I do have a heart.
Yeah, I am all the things that I want to be. And I need to just say it and believe that I am. That stuff. Which brings us to the end of the film, which honestly I think is the part that really does make it feel like a Thanksgiving movie to me, is Diana Ross's song that she sings called Home.
Somewhere over. Oh, Home. Go on. Yeah.
Called Home. And it's just...
It's beautiful.
Camera on her face. Yeah. She's crying while she's singing it.
Yeah, there's images like coming in and out. Well, I guess it's like zooming out in the background,
like fading
of all the people she's met over the course of her adventure. Yeah, and
then her aunt and her uncle, you know, or I think are the last people that come into the scene.
Kind of stay in the frame a little bit longer,
right? And the song is about home and the idea of home and having a place where you feel welcome, you feel loved, where you feel like you can be yourself. And a lot of the times that, to me, as far as Thanksgiving goes, that's what that is. That feeling of, oh, this is my place. Yeah. These are my people. This is my family.
you're very comfortable here.
Right. Yeah. And I should be comfortable, even if I am on paper different than some of these people that are in the room with me. Yeah. None of that matters because we're family and this is home. Yeah. I mean, I cry when she sings it. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. If you've never heard it, look it up, you guys.
Well, just real quick, I mean, everything you said, yes. I was getting like, just from watching, because it was the last thing we watched, watching all the songs, watching some of the key scenes in the movie, or like some of the key scenes, like the subway scene, meeting the Wiz himself. No Bad News.
Which that song, I don't know why that's not memed more.
Well, yeah, but more. Like, and then watching her saying like the home song, I was, oh, this is hitting me. I could see why, like, this was a good way to tie this whole movie together, and why people would like this movie. You know, overall, it did tie together. But talking about some of these songs, No Bad News, rough.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No Bad News was rough. It was a struggle to get through that. Go ahead.
You didn't like the fake prosthetic booties they put?
They gave them like
on the actors.
They were
stuff.
Like kind of. I guess
Big
they were like
boobs.
Slaves. What were they?
Slaves.
They were slaves because the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yes. She owned a sweatshop.
There you go.
So they were workers in the sweatshop.
They were making Nikes. Anyway, so yeah, that
they were making Yeezys.
Yeah. No. So yeah, that song was kind of rough. The worst song in the movie, though, we can just talk about it. I hated it. That dang lion song.
You didn't like the lion song.
I forget, how did it go? I'm a lion and I'm boring as crap and this song sucks.
Like, that wasn't for you. Yeah, you didn't like it.
You didn't like it either, though, did you?
No, it's not my favorite song.
Look, watching it, I almost was like, I don't even want to talk about this movie.
Wow. I think that was one of the first songs I showed you too.
Yeah, it was. And
no, it's I don't really like that one. But Ease on Down the Road is absolute classic. I used to skip around with my friends singing it because they skip, while they're doing the song.
That was one of those songs that I didn't realize came from the Wiz. Yeah, I thought it was just like some song. I didn't realize. I don't think I realized Michael sung it. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael and Diana, which I think it was a dream for him to be in that movie and work with her, because from the stories I heard, he absolutely adored Diana Ross. Sure. Like, big fan of hers.
Hey, who wasn't? Well, I guess back then it was probably wasn't as common. Well, but 1978, she was already huge,
Diana
right?
Ross was a big deal, yes. Okay. And Michael definitely was a big deal back then, which I'm really shocked that people didn't really go, and people saw the movie, but they didn't make their budget back.
Which apparently, like, none of the Oz movies, or at least the original one, it didn't
Not
make
even
money.
The original one.
It didn't. What?
The original Wizard of Oz was a flop. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the original one did not make money, apparently.
No.
I mean,
none of the Oz movies make any good movie. None of the Oz movies make any good money. Wizard of Oz 2 with our girl Farouza Balk.
Did not do well.
Did nobody go see it?
It's a cult classic now.
People love it. I'm trying to think of what was the other one? The Wiz, obviously.
Well, the one with James Franco.
It is a classic. And people,
The Great and Powerful Oz. I think that did okay, though. That one did
make some money, but people hate it. It's not good.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to hold up.
It's not that one. Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to stand the test of time.
I don't know if anyone's going to look back and be like, wow, man, James Franco did a great job.
But The Wizard of Oz is such a weird story in itself.
Oh, also, I think, sorry, hold on one second. I think this movie is the reason why Michael Jackson had some kind of like body dysmorphia, or like he had a problem, because his makeup. They said, like, in the behind the scenes we were watching, that it would take so long to apply his makeup that he would go home and like just have his day, sleep in it, come back the next day and just have it on and just be ready to film, because he did not want to have to keep putting on the makeup every day. Right. And I think he would go home and he would look in the mirror and he would be like, wow, look at me, you're ugly.
Oh my God.
we gotta change all of this.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I'm gonna attribute The Wiz as the reason why Michael Jackson kind of started to lose it. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
That was it. I was kind of just gonna close up.
Okay. Yeah.
Close up on The Wiz there. That's what I was gonna do. It is, to us, well, you still haven't watched it in its entirety, but you've seen a lot of the good chunks of it.
I think I get it.
It's a great movie. It's old. It's a part of, it has its flaws. And you'll see them if you watch it.
Oh, you'll see them.
But the vibe of home, the vibe of community, the vibe of finding a found family, but also being okay with the family that you have and trying to accept and love yourself, knowing that they also love you the way that you are. And maybe sometimes those thoughts are just in your head.
Yeah, there's some good themes in there.
Right. And that is The Wiz.
Hey, baby, I think you forgot one thing.
Okay, what's that?
Yellow underwear. Ring a bell?
Is it yellow?
Is it gold?
I thought it was white.
White? Wait, what?
Yeah.
It was not white.
I thought it was their tribal underwear is what I put on the Can You Feel It? Brand New Day. There's some iconic scenes, yes, and that is one of them. So much I
guess not iconic enough. They ain't wearing no dang Pampers.
Well,
they yellow or gold or whatever.
They look kind of white to me. Anyway, but it's so iconic though that Family Guy spoofed
They made a joke on it,
which is what you know of it. You're like, oh, the Family Guy song?
When that, and that was early Family Guy. So when that came on, I was younger, but like, I didn't know where that was from. It was just funny to me.
Just naked black people dancing in the street.
Look, y'all. We'll play a little clip of it in the YouTube so y'all can see what we talking about.
We ain't scared of copyright, huh?
We ain't got to play the song.
Oh, okay. I got
I just want to see people seeing these people's legs kick up in the air. Look at it. Look at it.
Very high kicks.
Anyway.
A feast for the eyes.
So, look, that is what probably people who haven't seen the movie, they maybe have heard that song and have seen the imagery of that, either from the movie or from Family Guy, and they were like, "Nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I don't need to see that."
No, it's a nice little It's a nice little piece of culture, you guys. Yeah. Check out The Wiz if you've never seen it.
God.
Another giant piece of culture, though.
Okay.
I'm
scared.
Is The Color Purple.
Oh no.
This movie.
Oh no.
Is it's even hard to put it into words.
How are we gonna
honestly,
talk about this movie?
Because it's so good.
Yeah.
It is one of the best movies ever. I'm surprised that it's not on everybody's top 10. I feel like people just kind of forget about it.
Maybe you haven't seen it. Like, honestly.
Cinephiles, What
did you call me?
A cinephile.
Oh, okay.
This should be... The Color Purple needs to be on everybody's top 10 list if you love movies. And if you've never seen The Color Purple, we will be spoiling it. Please go watch it.
Yeah, this is one of those where you can watch The Wiz, or you watch it or don't watch it. We can talk about it. Us talking about it will not ruin it for you. It's a freaking Wizard of Oz with black people. But yeah, we do say you should go watch Color Purple before you listen to this.
Yes. Come back after that, after you watch it. But we are going to go. We're going to talk about it because it's amazing. It was originally a novel by Alice Walker that I tried to read, and I got a couple chapters in, but I was young. I think if I reread it now, I would be okay. But there was just a lot going on.
Yeah, I imagine as a book, it would be kind of rough getting through it.
And the structure of it and the way that the characters talked, and it was just a lot. But great book, classic. People love the book. A lot of the actors that are in The Color Purple were unknowns. Nobody knew who they were.
Yeah.
And of course now we all know who these people are.
Should we give them like what the base premise of it is?
Yes, we should. It's I don't even know how to do it. I do know how to do it, but I don't.
What's the synopsis to Color Purple? I'm trying to think. Two sisters living their life in the early 1900s who are separated and find their way through life to eventually get back to each other.
Okay, this is what Google says.
Okay, come on, Google.
An epic tale spanning 40 years in the life of Celie, played by Whoopi Goldberg, an African-American woman living in the South who survives incredible abuse and bigotry. After Celie's abusive father marries her off to the equally debasing Mr. Albert Johnson, played by Danny Glover, things go from bad to worse, leaving Celie to find companionship anywhere she can. She perseveres, holding on to her dream.
It's the whole movie.
One day being reunited with her sister in Africa. What? There we go.
That's the whole movie.
Well, that's the dream of her. It doesn't say that she does, but that's the dream.
Okay, well, hey, y'all, that's Color Purple.
That's The Color Purple. Let me get back to my notes. Here we go.
It was one of those movies where I watched it a bunch as a kid, right? Like, when I say watch, that movie would be on at Thanksgiving, at Halloween, at Christmas, at 4th of July. My dad loved The Color Purple. That's one of his favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
he loves that movie.
Mom, dad, sister.
But as a kid growing up, I would watch it. For one, it's a long movie, so I would watch it, in and out, and I didn't get it. I know I didn't get it. I would see scenes, and I would be like, "Oh, he smacked her. That's bad. This person looks sad. Okay, how all these pieces fit together? I don't know. Oh, this song at the end is really fun, So it was one of those where I would come in and out of, but like the real themes of the movie as a kid, I wasn't absorbing. And but having watched it as I'm older over the last few years, it is one of the greatest movies of all time. I cry every time I watch it. I don't want to cry when I watch it, but it happens anyway. Baby, go ahead.
Yeah, every single time. It is a black woman led ensemble cast. I mean, when you think about it, The Color Purple really did a lot of things that a lot of movies weren't doing at the time for the black community.
What year did it come out?
Hollywood wasn't doing it.
It came out early 90s, right? Or was it 85? What was it?
No, I think it was. Well, no, you might be right about the 85. It came out in 85.
Okay.
1985. I was only a couple years old. So
and I wasn't even thought about.
You weren't even a twinkle in your daddy's eye at that point in time in life. But, Hollywood wasn't really giving black people that much of a mantle. I mean, they just, weren't.
Not for like a serious movie like this.
Not for a serious movie. Steven Spielberg directed it. And
God bless you, Steven Spielberg.
Bless you, Steven. Obviously he loved the source material. It's very different from a lot of his other movies, obviously, because he did a lot of adventure stuff, a lot of things with children, stuff like that. And
Jaws.
This black-led movie.
Did he do Jaws?
I think that's Steve. Yeah, that's Steven.
Okay, I'm like, uh-oh.
Jaws, E.T., yeah, that's Steven. And
black-led movie.
Right. Jurassic Park.
Also a black-led movie. Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. You will not believe who produced this movie, though.
Who?
Our girl. Everybody's favorite girl.
Oh. Lizzo?
Kathleen Kennedy.
Who's that?
Star Wars. She's the head of Lucasfilm.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh.
Kathleen. Did that help? Or no?
I
didn't think so.
It. I'm sorry. I'm not steeped in it as much as you are, so that name doesn't do anything for me.
Well, no one likes her now. We don't like her.
Head Star Wars lady. She's
But this was a Kathleen Kennedy produced film. Yes.
Wow, but good for her.
Yeah. Oh, she's done so many. She's done so many films.
So what happened about Star Wars?
I don't know what her deal is with Star Wars. I think she's good at it. She's a good producer, but I don't know if she's good at making some of these other decisions.
Is she like a creative lead? I don't know what a producer does. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought they did a lot of money. Tell you the truth.
Sure. So but they have some creativity or like a say in. Hey, we're not going to fund this, so we're not going to help you make this.
Right. I think they have a say in a lot of what goes on.
Sure. What does the executive producer do?
A lot.
What does the associate producer do?
Let us know in the comments. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what they do.
Educate me.
Yeah. Let us know. But our girl, Kathleen Kennedy, she came through on this one.
Yeah.
For The Color Purple.
Well, who's some of the actresses or the actresses?
Some of
the cast.
Absolutely amazing unknowns at the time. He originally wanted Tina Turner, to play Suge Avery, but we got the actress that we got, who was great, but Tina would have been good in that role too.
She would have been good, but I'm glad we got the actress we got for Suge Avery.
Whoopi Goldberg, who she wasn't super unknown, she had just come off of her one woman show. I think it was Broadway or something like that, but she had a show, so she had some recognition from that. She was a comedian in that way because it was funny.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, who at the time was a news anchor.
She was still
in Chicago.
She wasn't doing her TV show at all yet?
No.
Oh,
that came way later. No.
Okay.
She was a news anchor at the time who she was obsessed with the book, read the book, and she didn't know what she was auditioning for.
Really?
When she got the script or whatever.
And then she read it. She was like,
but she had a feeling that it was The Color Purple.
Oh.
She was like, I feel like this is The Color Purple.
Okay.
And if this is The Color Purple, I really want to be in this movie.
Was it
she was literally like, I will play anything. I will play any role. I just want to be in this movie. She was obsessed with the book.
Let me be one of the color purple flowers in the field, please.
Right. She loved it. And of course, she killed her audition and all this stuff. I think when she auditioned, she didn't hear anything for a while, and she had went to this wellness center because she was feeling really down about it, and I think she was trying to lose some weight and things like that. And she was on the track when she had gotten a call, and someone from the center was like, "You got a call, blah blah blah." And she told Steven where she was, Steven Spielberg. And
he was like, "Stop losing weight."
He said, "Stop it! Don't
Are you serious?"
Yes, he said, "Don't you dare lose another pound." He was like, "You better come to the set weighing the same that you weighed in the audition.
You better get your ass to McDonald's."
Right, and I think she did go. She went somewhere and got a burger or something. Funny. She immediately left the wellness center and like started eating. She was like, because I think she had lost a couple of pounds, But very interesting. Danny Glover, who is awful and wonderful in this.
He plays the worst person.
Yeah.
Worst person. Oof.
Worst person ever, but so good. He does it well. It's very convincing.
It's so good. It's a little too good. There's some certain scenes in there. I'm like, Danny, you were way too good at being a creep.
It's very good. And those are kind of the main ones that we still know today as far as actors.
There's a bunch of other people in there. There's an early role from Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Formerly known as Larry Fishburne.
Yes, Larry.
He's in there. But yeah, if you look at the movie, if you watch the film, you'd be like, maybe I recognize that person, but it really is a bunch of, if now you don't know a lot of these people.
Right.
But everybody kills it. Everybody in their roles does a great job. There are no weak performances in this movie.
It is a period piece, which I think makes it very timeless because it takes place
1909,
over the span of like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Starts off in like 1910 or something like that, and then ends in like.
I just said 1909, but yeah.
Oh, is it 1909?
Yeah.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes, I was paying a lot of attention to the years at first.
Oh, okay.
And then when they started getting to the 30s, I was like, I'm good.
And then I think the movie ends and it's 1936, right? Is that what you just said? 36 or 38?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So it's the span of this character's life, Celie, for a couple of decades. We meet her, she's 14, so I guess by the end of the movie, she's in her early 50s, late 40s.
I don't know. They do a great job. Way older than a great job with makeup in this movie. In terms of making people look young, look old. It is pretty impressive.
You couldn't have told me that Oprah Winfrey wasn't like 65.
They did a great job making her
I was just like, oh my God, she looks so old. It was so, and because I saw this before the Oprah show, obviously. So when the Oprah show came out, I was kind of like, whoa, as a kid, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I was just like, she looks so good on the Oprah show and young. She didn't look like that in the movie.
They made her look older in The Color Purple in 1985 than she looks now.
Which she's like, probably the age she was at the end of that movie.
Granted, she's a billionaire, so she has every source of, keeping her young. She is eating some kind of baby fetus right now, I'm sure. So yeah,
Oprah's the queen. She's queen. She is a queen. But yes, the makeup, the costumes on this, it all feels so real, and the fact that the actors are so convincing, you feel like no one feels like they're acting at all.
No, it feels it feels sometimes too authentic. Because the story, we're not gonna go beat by beat, but just Erica read the synopsis. It is a story about Celie having a hard life.
Yeah.
Her and her sister get separated. Her
trigger warning.
Trigger warning. Yeah, y'all. Trigger warning.
Sure. If abusive families, sexual abuse, and things like that. Trigger warning. I guess it's kind of done as tastefully as those things can be done.
It really is.
In a film.
It is.
But
I don't know how. Yeah.
But her father sexually abuses her. And she ends up having 2 children by her father that he takes away from her, and they end up getting adopted. And then he sells her, essentially. They're like cattle.
Yeah,
he sells her to Danny Glover's character, Mr., and he already has 3 kids from a previous marriage, and they're bad and awful.
But to be clear, he gets rid of the kids, and then he marries her off, sells that. That's how he gets rid of her. That's how he gets rid. I just want to be clear because you said her. So the kids get taken away. They're given away to other families, and then he gives her the Danny Glover. Yeah, I'm sure there was some kind of monetary exchange, but but
there might have been.
And just to clear it up, spoilers. That guy wasn't actually her dad.
Right.
You find out later in the movie that was not her biological father. it was somebody else that was married that her mom married. I mean, it's still very gross.
Right, it's still awful. But but her kids aren't her brother or sister.
They aren't related like
whatever.
that. Like, yes, yeah. I just want to clear that up. So like that's like the first part of the movie is getting into like how hard, like, oh, you're like, oh, this is how the movie starts. This is gonna be rough.
But The Color Purple does a really good job at, in spite of those awful things happening, there's a lot of love between her and her sister. There's, the music is very like uplifting and kind of melancholy and sweet. And so a lot, and especially as a child, I think that helps influence the fact that you can't really tell that a lot of these bad things are happening. You're kind of just watching a movie.
Yes, that's how I was saying. Like, yeah,
they don't I wouldn't put it together. Those moments with a lot of sad music and things like that. It's really played for like, here's the scene, here's what's happening. You're in it right now, And even when Mr. separates Celie and Nettie as her sister, the music isn't really sad. It's more of the kind of uplifting music that they're playing at the beginning of the film, because the movie starts with them running in this field of purple flowers, hence the name, you guys.
Oh.
And fun fact, those flowers were pink. They were not purple. And
wait, what?
Given at the time when the movie came out, they couldn't digitally... Yes, they could not digitally paint the flowers purple, so people were out there with purple spray paint.
Are you serious?
And they didn't spray paint every flower, but a good chunk of what, they knew was going to be in scenes and things like that.
Did they kill the flowers by doing that?
They could have, sure.
Steven,
They might have, yeah. I don't know. I didn't get an update on that.
The color pink.
Yeah, the color pink. But they were like, how are we going to have the movie and
there
weren't any natural purple flowers, in the field that they had scouted and everything. Yeah, so they ended up painting a good chunk of them. Yeah. So, fun little fact there for you.
The lies.
But the score of the movie is good. The music is memorable. It's beautiful. And just the journey you go on with Celie, kind of like in The Wiz, her growing up.
Go on.
Her learning to love herself and see her self-worth. We're constantly shown people calling her ugly. Her own dad would call her ugly.
Yep.
Mr., the guy that she got married or sold to or whatever, would call her ugly.
Yep.
Suge Avery, a character who she
is
had kind of...
character who becomes a great character.
Right. But she had
person.
seen pictures of her up in her, Mister's home, and she kind of idolized her and was like, wow, she's so beautiful.
Celie idolized Suge Avery, yeah.
The first thing she ever said to her, Suge Avery, when she saw Celie was, "You sure is ugly,"
laughed.
I mean, the woman had spent her life being told she wasn't nothing, wasn't about nothing. And at the end of the movie, she is like, no, you're wrong. Yeah. I am something. It's just...
you know what? I almost don't want to spoil all of it. I mean, we're talking about it, but, we're not doing beat by beat. I want people to watch this movie. Don't watch it or do watch it with your kids. I don't know.
We did, obviously.
We watched it when we were younger, but like...
That's what makes it feel like Thanksgiving to me, is because all the adults would be watching it, and I would be there, and my cousins would be there. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anyone that didn't watch this movie as a kid, like when they were younger.
I can understand if you wouldn't want to show your kids this movie.
I can totally get that.
I get it.
Sure.
But I still think you should seek the movie out.
Right. It's a piece of movie history, and it's not based on anything real, but you definitely could see every scenario. It's like, oh, this definitely could have happened to somebody.
I believe every bit of it.
This isn't fantasy. It seems very real, all the interactions with these people.
And we're talking about like it being sad and being tough to watch, and maybe don't show your kids. There's still, I think they do a good job of, there being some levity.
Yes.
There are definite moments of comedy.
Yeah, definitely. Harpo, for one, I think is a good source of comedy, because he's always falling through the ceilings and stuff.
So, and Oprah's character, Sophia, she's great, and she when she comes in the movie, she brings in a good like breath of fresh air in terms of like, okay, at least for a little bit, at least for a little while, she will provide some source of like, when she's on the screen, it's going to be funny, or it's going to be like a bit lighthearted, and then that gets flipped. because it is what it is. Once again, what
it's a real life. It's a real life scenarios that happen in the film. And just to get back to the point really quickly on Celie being told she's ugly. Mm-hmm. The way the movie is shot, the way that they film Celie too, a lot of the shots are composed in a way that you would compose a leading lady, getting her silhouette and things like that. And she won't smile in the movie a lot, but even just like how they'll focus on her eyes or where she is placed in the scene. I've watched this movie so many times, and watching it the other day just to get a catch up, I was like, Whoopi Goldberg is so pretty in this.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
she's
so beautiful and elegant, and like, and how you see how she enters Mister's house, and it's a wreck. There's mice everywhere and cobwebs. She turns the house into a home. There's flowers everywhere, like, and it's beautiful and organized. And she's very good at sewing, which they show very early on too. Yep. I was just amazed after going back years of my life of watching this film of being like, wow, Celie is such a treasure. Like, she is such a character that has so much going on, but like the people around her have beaten her down so hard.
Physically and mentally.
That she just can't see it.
Yeah. Should we discuss parts of, like, hey, it gets better, like
it does. I mean, the movie has a happy ending. It does get better, and that's why you love the film, because you go through.
It is uplifting.
It's uplifting, and there's community because she meets these other women that also are going through different things, different issues, but they come together, they support each other.
Yep.
And it's just such a beautiful story.
Yeah. So like when we say like we're crying, it's not because, oh, this scenario is sad, which you could, hey, you could cry for, them getting separated like early in the movie. That is sad, or some of the abuse that Celie suffers or other people suffer. That is sad. But the crying comes from like the end when certain things just wrap up together, and you're just like, oh, this is amazing.
It's so much. It's
borderline impossible not to cry. To me, I feel like now, after seeing it a few times, maybe I'm just more emotional now these days, which is definitely possible. But they're good cries.
The journey you go on is worth it. You talk about a movie having payoffs.
Yeah.
This is a movie where, man, you going on this journey with them, payoff. The movie doesn't feel long.
Yeah, and it is long, but it
doesn't feel it.
Like
every little bit, they use every ounce of time, like, perfectly in the film to tell the story. There are some moments where you're like, well, who this character and where they come from?
Sure.
There are those moments where maybe that ended up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, because it is based off from a book, so there's a lot of source material.
There's a lot of source material.
And maybe one day I'll get the audiobook for it and be like, oh, wow, you know what, baby? The Color Purple book is superior to the film. Maybe I'll do that one day.
But sadly, though, 11 nominations.
11 nominations.
At the 1986 Oscars.
Ooh, boy. Hey, baby, how many did it win?
0.
0.
Not a 1.
Insane.
Absolutely snubbed. They didn't win for anything. And you guys,
that's crazy.
Those of y'all who are listening that have watched this film, it's just really like a how and a why.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How did this happen?
Do you know what won instead for some of the things?
A Meryl Streep movie.
Oh my god.
Called Out of Africa.
That
I've never heard of in my life. I've never heard of this movie in my life.
The irony.
Also was nominated for 11 Oscars that year.
How many did it win?
I think they won 7 or 8. Like they won a lot. They sweeped. Meryl Streep movie Out of Africa. Never heard of it. Never heard anyone talk about it.
Wow.
People still talk about The Color Purple.
Like, even if I did hear something, even if you said a movie that I've heard of, I don't think it should have won over The Color Purple. Wow.
I almost want to watch it though, honestly.
And be like, wow, you know what? It is really good.
I'm sure it's a great movie.
I see why Meryl took it. Queen.
I'm sure it's a great movie, but 11 nominations and they didn't win anything.
That's pretty insane.
Whoopi Goldberg was up for Best Actress. She lost to a lady named Geraldine Page.
Who the hell is that?
She was an older actress at that time.
That was a legacy.
It was essentially a legacy win.
She was the Leonardo DiCaprio of her time.
She had baby, yes. The Academy loved her. Hollywood loved her.
Oh my goodness.
She was the darling. You know, she had been around for a very long time.
That's so messed up.
She was. Let me tell you, she had been nominated 8 times in her acting career.
Okay,
and had never won an Oscar.
You know what? All right, I'll give that one to her because back then they were probably thinking, well, Whoopi is going to have a long career and be in a lot of fantastic.
And
movies.
She did get her Oscar eventually. Whoopi is an EGOT.
What did Whoopi win for?
She got her. Honestly, don't know. She's got she got an Emmy. She got a Grammy. She got her Oscar. And she got a Tony. And she got a Tony. She might have the Grammy for one of her comedy things.
It wasn't for Sister Act 2?
Or something. It could have been for Sister Act.
Yo, Sister Act 2.
The GOAT. Now that's a good movie.
That's an honorable mention right there.
That's a really good
Sister
movie
Act 2. Oof,
right
that's
there.
A good one.
And so,
wow,
sad, it's
though.
really, really sad because the movie truly is phenomenal.
So like even though it didn't win certain accolades, I think it has stood the test of time. Like you just said, no one's ever heard of what's it called, Maryland, Africa.
Let me look it up because I already forgot of it. Already forgot it. Out of Africa.
Out of Africa.
Yeah, Out of Africa. Meryl Streep.
The irony though, that's pretty funny.
Right. That's how the Oscars is a lot of the time, though, for real. But they really weren't. They honestly were like, The Color Purple should have just been happy to be nominated because it's a black film, woman-led film. Right. That was the attitude that the Academy really had towards it. Which
the Academy, has had some struggles. I'm sure people know with like certain representation. So even it's back a few years ago. So it doesn't really shock me in 1980 whatever.
Right.
86 that they were like, you're lucky we nominated you. It's an honor to just be nominated.
The thing, though, that makes this movie feel like Thanksgiving to me personally is, first of all, it's one of the most quotable movies.
It's very quotable.
Nothing but death will keep me from it. There's so many. Your shoulder's ugly. We already said that. Ugly. I may be ugly, but I'm still here. There's so many. You told Harpo to beat me. Literally anything Oprah says. Yeah. Quotes. Absolute quotes.
This is one of my favorite quotes, and when I thought about it, and I was thinking maybe I shouldn't say this quote anymore because it's pretty dark.
What is it?
I just want to go to school.
Well, I used to do that. I
just want to go to school. Now, if you've seen the movie, you're probably going like, "Oh no, no."
As a kid, I used to do it.
That scene resolves itself somewhat okay.
Oh, and you'll like this because the one of the main reasons, it's not, well, it is a reason. There is a scene towards the end of the movie at a dinner table. It's either Thanksgiving or Easter, y'all. I think it might be Easter. But in my mind, to me, it looked like Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving, yeah.
So,
they eating food, they having a good time.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey has a monologue. She's been going through it. She finally out of her situation.
Yeah.
That monologue ad-libbed.
Are you kidding me?
No.
What did you say to me?
Her rocking like that, all her. Steven didn't tell her to do that.
Her
he
laughing?
Was like, yep, it's just all of that was her.
What? That don't seem
I was
real.
Feeling real low, Miss Seeley. I was feeling real low. Or she might have said I was feeling real down, The tears, all of it. Like, it was an absolute moment.
Ad-lib?
Absolute moment, yeah.
See, that kind of stuff, just off the top of her head. And see, that kind of stuff is makes me go, man, I wish Oprah had acted more.
I know.
Wasted her time becoming a billionaire on TV.
She did do another movie with Danny Glover, and that one's dark, too. That's the dark movie. Like, you think the Color Purple, it has some dark things going on, but there's so much light in that film that, to me, I just don't...
Huh.
It's almost a feel-good movie, The Color Purple, in a way.
Compared to this other movie?
Oh, definitely compared to this other movie that I can't remember the name, but that movie was wild.
Yeah, but hey, if you watch the movie and you see the scene we're talking about, that is pretty impressive.
Very impressive. But, I've watched this movie, me and my mom and my sister. I feel like it's a very special movie to us. My sister, at least a couple times a year, whenever she calls me, she's like, "Sister, you've been on my mind." And I know we're not the only sisters.
It's a song from the movie.
I know we're not the only sisters that have done that.
Sure.
But it's on. It's on during Thanksgiving. It's on during Christmas. The Black community absolutely adores this movie, loves this movie.
Yeah.
And I've shown it to a lot of my white friends, And they're like, oh my God, this movie is amazing.
Wow. So, Erica, is this what it was like for you growing up?
Yeah, it sure was.
Wow, Erica.
Yeah, I was born in 1910. Yeah, that's what
1909.
That's what it was like for me. Anyway, but saying all that, it is something near and dear. Like, I do think of my family when I watch this movie.
Unlike The Wiz, which, you know, there's some caveats for me in The Wiz. Oh, I remember it here and there, I guess, and I've caught up on it the last couple of days, just knowing some stuff about it. But Color Purple was truly a family movie. Everybody loved it. Yeah, you know, it was a family movie. We did watch it during Thanksgiving, during the holidays. Like I say, we watched it on a, you know, summer afternoon. It was one of those movies that, especially my dad, Lord, he ruined that VHS. just kept watching it. Anyway, so
yeah.
Color Purple. Fully recommend. Wiz, I recommend you seek it out if you have the time.
Yeah, if you want a little bit of musical culture and you've never seen The Wiz, definitely check it out. But The Color Purple, if you like a movie, if you're here for movies, then you need to watch The Color Purple if you've never seen it. It's so good. I was going to also say that I feel like I could say any line from this movie, The Color Purple, to any black person and they would know exactly. And they would giggle and laugh and probably say another one back to me. It's almost like its own language at this point, you know, because we've all seen it.
It's like black people in like Shining, you know, we can shine to each other. You know, I could talk to you without opening my mouth.
Yeah, you ain't never shined before.
Yeah,
right?
I just, you know, telepathy is real. I didn't want to reveal it on this podcast, but it is real. I can't talk to you without, you know, saying words out loud.
Right.
Just like that, I could say a quote from Color Purple, and we'll be right there. You know,
right there. Mm-hmm. But these are some of the movies to us that feel like Thanksgiving, you guys. But let us know in the comments what movies feel like Thanksgiving to you. There's not enough Thanksgiving movies out there.
There is not. There's plenty of ones that we watch around this time of year, but none with a turkey in the middle of the table.
No. I would say maybe Soul Food.
Soul Food
might be a good one for a lot of people.
Sure.
You said Home Alone.
Home Alone was one of those movies. Home Alone was one of those movies that we watched whenever. We did watch it during Christmas, but we also watched it just during the fall season.
Yeah, get you into the spirit in the mood.
Yeah, it was one of those that we just played on rotation.
Black Dynamite has recently become
Black Dynamite,
a Thanksgiving movie for me. Once again, because it's a period piece. It takes place in the 70s or 60s, and it makes me think of my parents. I don't know. It's a Thanksgiving film for me now.
Black Dynamite is a hood classic. It is a certified classic. It is. Please watch Black Dynamite.
We'll have to do an episode just on Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite is special.
It's so good. But thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I guess we have to say that.
On wherever podcasts or YouTube, wherever platform you're listening to this on. You like Spotify? You like YouTube? You like Apple? We're there.
Oh my God. Okay.
Help me.
Yeah, you're spiraling. You're spiraling. Show it to a friend. Maybe we've told you something that you never thought of before. Let us know down in the comments. We would love to hear from you.
Talk to me.
You know, everyone, be kind to each other this week. Sometimes it's, you know, can be rough to get with family and stuff like that, but family really is something we should be thankful for.
Just remember that you can lock the door. You can push that call to voicemail. There are ways you can block people on Facebook. There are things that you can do to cut the people out of your life.
I love this.
And you never have to talk to them again. Listen, be thankful that there is a block button.
I love that. I was trying to give a nice, a good, you know, goodbye, you know,
goodbye.
And you're like, just shut everyone out of your life.
Cut them out of your life.
And then be thankful.
Remember that one thing
that they're not there.
Remember that one thing they did to you that you really didn't like? And you resented them for a long time for it.
Well, Thanksgiving is the time to bring that stuff up.
Hold on to that feeling.
Yeah.
Don't let go.
Yeah, don't let go of it.
Waka waka. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Make it a thing, you guys. Make it a thing this Thanksgiving. For real, though, y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you guys. We're thankful for the platform. We hope everyone gets real full and takes a nap.
I'm gonna get bigger than I already am.
Okay,
good. Trying to feed me to death? This is an admission of guilt right here.
This is the time to eat. This is the time to do it, you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening.
See y'all.
Go watch a movie, you guys.
See you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Barnard Babble. That's BARNARD BABBLE.